So I have got my hands on Fishman's latest pickup. This is the Fluence Acoustic. This is a multi-voice sound hole pickup for the acoustic guitar. And in this video, we're going to take a look at what this is all about, how it sounds, and what sets this apart from other magnetic sound hole pickups. By the way, in all clarity, Fishman did send me this pickup free of charge, but they didn't pay me to create this video, and of course, all my thoughts and opinions are my own. Okay, so what is the Fluence Acoustic pickup and how is it different? To best explain this, I need to first explain a traditional magnetic sound hole pickup like this one here. This is the Fishman Black Stack, and in a very basic term, the way this works is it is basically a magnet, very strong magnet, and you have copper wire wrapped around that magnet lots and lots and lots and lots of times. Then when we play a string, the magnet picks it up, and then the copper wire reacts to the change in magnetic field, which is then further processed into a very small electrical signal. But the Fluence pickups don't have any copper wire. Instead, they have printed circuit boards that surround the magnet, and the circuit boards react in a very similar way to how the copper wire would. It still has an all analog signal, but using printed circuit boards instead of copper wire has a few benefits. It allows them to have a lot more control and consistency over every Fluence pickup. With traditional copper wire pickups, there's so many different variables that come into play, like how many times is the wire wrapped around the magnet, how thick the wire is, in what way is the copper wire wrapped around the magnet. All of this affects the sound and performance of the pickup. And with so many different variables, it's really hard to know exactly how the magnetic sound hole pickup is going to perform. But with the Fluence pickup, because there's no copper wire, there's none of these variables that come into play. So they're able to have full control over how this pickup performs and sounds, and they can make it consistent every single time. Fishman says that you can get up to 70 hours of playing time on a 9-volt battery, which I think is plenty of time, and it has a red indicator light here showing you if your battery is low. Traditional sound hole pickups have to be straight. They have to be like this, just in their design, in the way that they're made. They have to be straight. They can't be any other shape. But with the Fluence pickups, they can make them any shape they want. So they went for this curved-based design, and I think it fits the sound hole a lot nicer. You know, it's a lot less of an eyesore. It's a lot more sleek. It just fits the acoustic guitar a lot better, I think. One thing that this allows for is multi-voicings. So this pickup can have lots of different tonal possibilities for a wide range of playing styles. There's 3 models to choose from: Rock Icon, Spotlight, and Nashville Legend. Each model has its own unique sound with 2 separate voicings that you can easily switch between directly on the pickup. I went for Spotlight, which provides warmth and articulation in both of its voicings. Voice 1 is rich and mellow and is great for a singer-songwriter who wants something that's not too bright, but also has a lot of clarity and detail. And voice 2 is a little bit more clear and articulate if you need something that has a little bit more clarity, a little bit more punch, like if you're picking or if you're playing solo fingerstyle. You also have two wheel controls on the pickup itself. One is for mains volume, and the other one is a boost for voice 2. Another benefit of the Fluence Core is string balance. So usually I only go for magnetic soundhole pickups that have adjustable pole pieces, because it can be, especially with magnetic soundhole pickups, that some strings are louder than others, and obviously that can be a big problem if that's not what you want. But because of the Fluence technology and the control that they have over the sound, Fishman is able to make an extremely balanced sound across all the strings. I mean, it doesn't give you personal control of the volume of each individual string like adjustable pole pieces do, but if you did want to raise the volume of certain strings or lower the volume of certain strings, then included are these shimmers, and you just stick these shimmers in the clamp on either side, and it basically just makes the whichever side you want closer to the strings, which will then bring up the volume of that side of pickup. So you can have some control in that sense. But to be honest, I didn't feel like I needed to use these because I felt like the sound was extremely balanced anyway, straight out of the box. Another benefit of Fluence pickups is no hum. So even the best humbucking magnetic pickups have a slight hum. If you really listen closely, it's kind of unavoidable, unfortunately. It's just comes with the design of the pickup. But with the Fluence pickup, because there's no wire inside, there's no wire coil, there's no hum. We can avoid that completely. Now, I didn't find it to be completely noiseless. It's still an analog signal, and with every analog signal, you do get some level of ground noise with that. But it's nice to hear that there was none of that low-end hum that you do get with traditional magnetic pickups. So I really enjoyed having two different tonal possibilities inside a pickup like this. I'm thinking about situations where I might be playing a song and maybe I need like an extra, a different sound at some point in a song. You know, I can easily just switch that switch and get this whole different sound from my pickup. Or maybe from going from song to song, maybe in a set I do have songs where I'm singing along. You know, voice 1 is definitely more suited for that. But maybe I have like an instrumental in my song, then I would switch to voice 2 that has a little bit more punch, a little bit more clarity, you know. So it's just really nice having these tonal possibilities directly from the pickup itself. It also has a dual output. So if you plug in a stereo cable, then it will send voice 1 to one signal and then voice 2 to the other signal, which opens the door for many creative possibilities right there. For example, you could blend the signals together and then get a mixture of both the voices. Or maybe you're recording and then you can record voice 1 in one track and then voice 2 in the other track simultaneously at the same time. And then that gives you more options later down the line when editing. Or maybe you would want to explore some kind of wet and dry setup where you have voice 1 is the dry, which is going through a very basic direct setup. And then voice 2 could be like going through delay and reverb and all kinds of things and more of the wet signal. And then combining those two together could provide for some really cool, creative sounds. Alright, so here are my final thoughts. This is such a unique and innovative pickup that is pushing the limits to what is possible for magnetic sound hole pickups. I find a lot of people don't like the look of magnetic sound hole pickups because it really changes the look of your guitar. And this could be really great for those people because it is a lot more subtle than your standard magnetic sound hole pickup. Also, for people that want a very specific sound out of their magnetic sound hole pickup, this could be really good because you have lots to choose from in terms of the 3 different models. And then within those models, you have these 2 different voices that you can choose between. So if you're after a very specific sound out of your magnetic sound hole pickup, then this could be a really great choice. But you know, this is still a magnetic sound hole pickup and it sounds like a magnetic sound hole pickup, so don't get it thinking that it will sound like a microphone or something, because it won't. There is one limitation that I experienced, and that is the clamp here can only open to a certain amount. I measured it just over 5 millimeters, so 5.13 millimeters wide. But with other sound hole pickups, you can open the clamps a lot wider. But because of the design here and the way they've designed it to be really high up on the soundboard, it is limited to how wide the clamp can open. And the soundboard on my Loudon is just about 5 millimeters thick, so this just about squeezed on, and I was able to tighten it a little bit, but there wasn't really any leeway there at all. Fishman actually say it's really important to get this pickup as close to the strings as possible, obviously without affecting the playability, and they actually provide these shims with it. And what you can do is you can basically put the shims underneath the top clamp, top side of the clamp here, and that will raise the pickup slightly. The closer you have it to the strings, the stronger the signal and the lower the ground noise you're going to get. But I wasn't able to get it any closer. And just make sure that your soundboard is thin enough. Like I said, you know, my Loudon has a particularly thick soundboard, so just make sure that you have enough leeway there, that you're able to sort of clamp this really easily, and maybe even put some of these shims in so you can sort of raise the pickup and get it closer to the strings. But even though the pickup was quite far away from the strings, I was still able to get a pretty strong signal. Now bear in mind, I still don't know what these will retail for. At the time of doing this review, they're still yet to be released. And the question is, will this be replacing my Fishman Black Stack sound hole pickup? And the answer is, we will see. Maybe. I still really like the old school sound hole pickup. I like the look of it as well. I know it's a big chunk of metal in the sound hole, but I really like that. I'm an old school kind of guy, you know, so I like the look and the sound of the old school magnetic sound hole pickup. But I do really like the dual output of this and the fact that I can have 2 different voices to choose from, and I can just see myself experimenting with using those 2 voices at the same time and just seeing what creative possibilities I can come up with. I do really like that. So we will see. Only time will tell. But nonetheless, I've really enjoyed reviewing the Fluence Acoustic. Thanks again to Fishman for sending me this very cool and unique pickup. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of the Fluence Acoustic pickup. I'll put a link for that in the description down below so you can check it out. Other than that, have a fantastic day, and I will see you again in another video very soon. Bye.